everybody. So today we are doing another episode of Did the Right One Win? And we are talking about the best animated feature film Oscar from 2002. And the award went to Shrek, and you can see, I'll put a link to my video and you can see what I thought of that year. Well, this year is a very strong year for animation. It'll be up there in one of the better ones I think I'll do in this series. This year there were 5 nominees, which some years there's 3, some years there's 5. The first one is from Blue Sky Studios. This was their first film, and it is called Ice Age.
The story of 4 strangers who go from Sub-Zero
back scratcher
to heroes.
Come on, keep up with me.
I would if you were moving.
Move, Sloth.
Way to go, Tiger. Captain, iceberg ahead.
And I just watched that this morning, and to be honest, I didn't really like it. It doesn't age well at all. The animation looks terrible. It looks really amateurish, and I know I'm judging that by standards now, but I can look at the CG DreamWorks films and the CG Pixar films from that era, and they still hold up, and they still look good. This doesn't, to me. And the story's really cliched. The humor is okay, but I think it actually, I remember the time actually thinking, boy, this is a lot like Monsters Incorporated, and it kind of is. It's about these fairly kind of monsterish creatures, woolly mammoth and things like that. They get a baby and they go on an adventure, so it does feel like there's some similarities between the two. The voice work is good, and it's harmless, but I just wasn't very impressed with it on a rewatch. Next is Lilo and Stitch.
Next summer, 2 worlds will come together, and paradise will never be the same. Her name is Lilo.
That's my puppy.
His name is Stitch. Disney's Lilo and Stitch.
And this is a movie that has really grown on me. I didn't like it when it first came out, and I still really don't like certain things about it. But I have to admit, I like it more and more every time I see it. And the things I've always liked about it is the relationship between Nani and Lilo. I love it, and I love the fact that it's about a little child, which is really rare actually in Disney. Most of the time, Disney films are about adolescents, which is weird, but true. I love that Lilo is weird and different and not precociously cute, like, say, Boo in Monsters Incorporated. And I think she's just a really interesting and just lovely character. I love the message of Ohana. And I just don't like Stitch. I think he looks like a cockroach. I think he's too mean. It's too over the top. You feel like this family's just getting beaten down. It can be kind of wearing after a while. And so I wish I could kind of take Stitch out of it and just focus on the girls, because I really do love that. It's great. I love the watercolor. I love Hawaii. So anything with Hawaii I'm a big fan of. Is Spirit, the Stallion of the Cimarron. And
DreamWorks Pictures presents a world that's never been seen, and a spirit that can never be broken.
I actually just watched this for the first time this morning. I had never seen it. I wanted to, but I really liked it. Animation holds up really well. I think the score is really great by Hans Zimmer. I think it's kind of just a unique, interesting picture about this horse, and I like that they don't make the horses talk like, say, in Bambi. That it is the voiceover narration. It's kind of like an Old West version of Black Beauty, which I also really liked. I think it definitely belongs on this list for sure. Next is another animated film from Walt Disney, and this was Treasure Planet. And
It's Treasure Planet.
this was the dream of Ron Clements and John Musker. And I for some reason, this movie just isn't for me. I recognize the skill in making it. I recognize the creativity. I recognize how beautiful it is and how great the animation is. But for some reason, every time I watch this movie, I fall asleep. It just doesn't grab me. One of the problems that I think it has is it has this unique world. Traditional looking ships in space. But the problem is that I don't really know the rules of this weird world. Like, for instance, they get in this storm in space, but I know what happens to somebody when they go overboard in water. I know what a wave, or I know what water can do to a ship. I don't know what the space can do to a ship. I don't know what going over. So for me, it becomes a little bit unexciting because I don't really know what the stakes are involved. And I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't work for me. And I see why it works for other people and people love it, but I don't know. I don't mind that it was nominated, but it just doesn't grip me when I watch it. The last nominee, if you guys have been following my top 50 animation countdown that I've been doing on my blog, you'll know the last nominee, Spirited Away, was my third favorite animated film of all time.
Disney Studios presents a Studio Ghibli film. Experience a magical movie phenomenon embraced by all the world.
Let's go!
This fall, prepare to be spirited away.
And it's because there are very few times in watching movies that I've had a true original experience. Meaning, I can't look back and say, wow, that's a lot like so-and-so, and that's a lot like that, and that's a lot. This was completely unique, and I had no idea what was coming up next. Like, no idea if it was going to be the giant baby, or the boy that turns into a dragon, that turns into paper, or the little coal people, or it was just so different and creative. And I love the journey that the girl goes on as she kind of gains confidence through hard work and through trusting people, and she goes from being this whiny little girl at the beginning to being somebody that's strong and able to show some leadership. It's just a magical experience. It's Hayao Miyazaki's masterpiece. I think everyone should see it. I think it's not only one of the best animated films ever made, I think it's one of the best movies ever made. In this case, I obviously think the right one won. And who would I give second place to in this group? I would give it to Lilo and Stitch. I think is the strongest of the rest, but I think that they're all strong, with the exception of maybe Ice Age, which, like I said, I just don't think is held up very well. But at the time, I can see why it was nominated. So that's my thoughts on the 2002 Best Feature Film Animation nominees and winner. What do you think? Put in the comment section below. What do you think of all these films? And do you think the right one won that year? Thanks. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.